2 years now, we have been witnessing a global coup d'etat in which a financial and ideological elite has succeeded in seizing control of part of the national government, public and private institutions, the media, the judiciary, politicians and religious leaders. All of these, without distinction, have become enslaved to these new masters who ensure power, money and social affirmation to their accomplices. Fundamental rights, which up until yesterday were presented as inviolable, have been trampled underfoot in the name of an emergency. Today, a health emergency, tomorrow, an ecological emergency, and after that, an internet emergency.
So I've become convinced, as he has, that there's something here that goes beyond just vaccines and public health. And it's really, and I have not wanted to go there intellectually. And yet it is impossible to make sense out of what is transpiring in the world right now, but just through as an explanation of public health and vaccine policy or antiviral policy. And I have become convinced that we're in a situation in which we're all having our rights eroded, and that there is a larger force beyond this. I have colleagues who speak at length about evil. There is a growing sense by many people that there's something fundamentally evil going on here. I've become convinced that we do have a situation that is essentially the growth and expansion of global tyranny that is harmonized, that is managed, that is aligned across nation states. And it appears to be aligned with the economic interests of a small cluster of investment funds that represents the bulk of global Western capital. In my view, in the Western world, if there is a remaining moral authority in the world, it is the Catholic Church as the dominant moral authority. And I was hoping that the Catholic Church would take a principled stand here and take a position that this is wrong, that this is fundamentally contrary to humanity, to what we have believed as humanity. And this is why I supported the Archbishop. I was very struck by the bravery of the Archbishop to speak so freely about these things. And also, I felt it a little bit validating that here's somebody coming independently from a different discipline and a different frame of reference, a different tradition, and yet had come to the same conclusions that I was coming to. Okay, so what, in the face of a dysfunctional government and public health response, what can you do? Build connections within your local community. And that means, in part, building contact lists, particularly for the elderly, within your community, whether your community is a church or a town hall, or whatever your political and social structure is. Try to build community, try to build contact lists, call lists, stay in touch with each other, and in particular, try to stay in touch with the high-risk groups, the elders, etc. They represent your wisdom, and they're at highest risk. And the biggest crime, I think, that's going on is the feeble elder who encounters the virus goes to the hospital, or is taken to the hospital, gets told, no, you're not sick enough, go home, here's an aspirin, call us when you're sick enough. And so they go home and they die, and they die alone. And it's completely unnecessary because early treatment can help them. Yeah. But it all starts with the idea of being globally aware of what's going on, but acting locally within your community to start to build capabilities. And I think that is the way we break free of the mass psychosis. This is Matthias's point, is we can get people to realize that global totalitarianism is a bigger threat than the virus.
Okay, in fact, that's Dr. Malone and Archbishop Vigano. Dr. Malone, the reality is the Catholic Church did not take a principle stand. You've got heroic priest, like we started the show with, who said, your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit from 1 Corinthians. If you got to buy in, but